done that a long time ago when she was in hospital for scholar surgery.
I was on the athletic board in UK.
This meeting of the Community Development Board is called to order on September 20, 2022. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This board consists of 7 members and 1 alternate who are appointed by the City Council and serve voluntarily. I'm Mary Lau, and I will ask the other members and staff to introduce themselves, beginning on my left.
Ray Hood report. Jay Daniel, attorney for the board.
Gina Clayton, Planning and Development.
Bruce Rector.
Andy Park.
John Quattrocchi.
Please remember to turn off your cell phones so that they do not become a distraction during the meeting. Please also refrain from having conversations in this room so that we might hear all of the testimony given today. To ensure a complete record of this board's actions, we ask that each individual wishing to speak, including the applicant, speak into the microphone on the podium in front of us, clearly state your name and spell your last name for the clerk. Now I'll ask all those in attendance today who plan to speak, please rise and be sworn by the clerk.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give us the entire truth?
I do.
Agendas of today's meeting are on the podium to your left near the entry door. Also on this podium are a roster of the Community Development Board, the list of city staff experts and their resumes, the board's rules of procedures, and the annual schedule of this board. Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes from last month's meeting. May I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is an opportunity for anyone who wishes to address something that is not on today's agenda. If there is anyone who wishes to speak on something that's not on the agenda, please come forward. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our consent agenda, which is the entire extent of our agenda today. The board has adopted a consent agenda format, and the consent items are identified as such on the agenda. Consent agenda items are those items for which the Planning and Development Department recommends approval. The applicant is in agreement with any proposed conditions, and no written objections to the case have been received to date. Items may be removed from the consent agenda today by a member of the board, a member of the staff, or any person in the audience with questions or objections. I'll read each item on the consent agenda, and if any person wishes to remove this item from the consent agenda, please so state or raise your hand and we will remove it. Items removed from the consent agenda will be heard in the regular order of the meeting. Items that remain on the consent agenda will be approved with a single vote. Items number 1 through 3 remain on the consent agenda. Item 1 is case FLD 2022-06018 at 1569 South Fort Harrison Avenue. Owner is Fairwoods Property, Representative Brian Ongst of McFarland Ferguson. The location is 1.759 acres, consisting of 1 parcel on the east side of South Fort Harrison Avenue, approximately 700 feet north of Bel Air Road. The board is reviewing the addition of detoxification services and capabilities to an existing 36-bed residential treatment facility as a comprehensive infill redevelopment project in the commercial district for the property located at 1569 South Fort Harrison Avenue. No changes to the site, building, or intensity of use are proposed. The project requests allowable flexibility for use at Community Development Code Section 2-704F. Does anyone wish to remove this item from today's consent agenda? Seeing none. Item 2, case FLD 2022-05017-1310 South Washington Avenue. The owner is, boy, this is going to be tough, Victoria Kashovskaya. The location is 0.118 acres located on the west side of South Washington Avenue, approximately 95 feet south of the intersection with Lakeview Road. The board is reviewing a covered porch addition to an existing detached dwelling use in the medium-density residential district for that property. The project includes a height of 15 feet, provides a minimum of 2 off-street parking spaces, and requests allowable flexibility from setback requirements. Does anyone wish to remove this item from today's consent agenda? Mr. Johnson? All right, we will hear that in the regular order of the meeting. Our remaining item on the consent agenda, case FLD 2014-11028A at 521 South Gulfi Boulevard. The owner is Decade Gulf Coast Hotel Partners and J.K. Gulfi. Representative is Terry Skapik, Woods Consulting, Inc. Location is 4.87 acres, 3.908 acres in the tourist district, 0.962 acres in the open space recreation district, located on the south side of South Gulfview Boulevard between Hampton Drive and Bayway Boulevard. The board is reviewing an amendment to an approved flexible development application for a proposed approximately 6,450 square foot expansion of commercial dock area accessory to an existing overnight accommodation use in the tourist district and open space recreation district, and the Clearwater Pass district of Beach by Design for this property. The property consists of 2 new separate docks and an addition to an existing dock, and requests allowable flexibility for a commercial dock. Is there anyone who wishes to remove this item from today's consent agenda? All right, we have item 1 and item 3 remaining on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve these items?
Chairman Lau, I move to approve item 1, case FLD 2022-06018, and item 3, case FLD 2014-11028A on today's consent agenda based on evidence in the record, including the application and the staff report, and hereby adopt the findings of fact and conclusions of law stated in the staff reports with conditions of approval as listed.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, items 1 and 3 on today's agenda are approved. We will move on to the regular agenda. We have this one item remaining. This is a level 2 case. All level 2 cases, such as flexible development, are considered quasi-judicial hearings. In a quasi-judicial hearing, the Community Development Board reviews the application, the staff report, correspondence, and all evidence presented today, and makes a final decision subject to appeal. This board has previously qualified all the city staff who will testify as experts in their area of professional training, education, and experience. The list of city staff experts and their resumes are in the handbook on the podium near the entry door. Any other professionals who desire to be qualified as an expert shall so request at the beginning of the case and present a resume to each board member. The board shall determine whether or not to qualify the person as an expert and in what field of study. At the beginning of hearing this item, I'll ask for anyone who wishes to request party status to come forward and state your reasons. Party status may be granted if the person requesting such status demonstrates that he's a substantially affected person. The board will then determine whether or not to grant party status. Then the case will proceed as follows. First, request for party status, presentation by Planning and Development staff, 10 minutes maximum, presentation by the applicant, 10 minutes maximum, presentations by persons with party status, 5 minutes per party maximum, cross-examination of witnesses by Planning and Development staff, cross-examination of witnesses by the applicant, cross-examination of witnesses by persons with party status, comments by the public, 3 minutes per person, closing remarks by the Planning and Development staff, 3 minutes maximum, closing remarks by persons granted party status, 3 minutes maximum, closing remarks by the applicant, 3 minutes maximum, closing of the public hearing, discussion, and vote by the board. I'm going to reread item 2, the item that is proceeding in regular order. Case FLD 2022-05017 at 1310 South Washington Avenue. The owner is Victoria Kashkovskaya. 0.11 acres located on the west side of South Washington Avenue, approximately 95 feet south of the intersection with Lakeview Road. The board is reviewing a covered porch addition to an existing detached dwelling use in the medium-density residential district for that property. The project includes a height of 15 feet, provides a minimum of 2 off-street parking spaces, and requests allowable flexibility from setback requirements. Is there anyone here who would like to request party status with regard to this item? All right. We'll proceed with presentation by Planning and Development.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and board members. Anthony Minich on behalf of the city. At this time, I'd ask that the board accept Ms. Melissa Hogg-Baker as an expert witness in the following subjects, including general planning, zoning, redevelopment, planning, land development code and land development code amendments, special area plans and overlay districts, site plan review, landscape architecture, historic preservation, and comprehensive sign programs.
Is there a motion to accept Ms. Hogg-Baker as an expert in these
So
fields?
moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Good afternoon, Board. Melissa Hogg-Baker, Senior Planner with the Planning and Development Department. The item before you is case FLD 2022-05017. Okay, thank you. The existing home is a single-family detached dwelling, and it was constructed in 1925. The entire area was platted in August of 1925, and there features an existing range of single-family as well as multifamily homes within both the medium-density residential zoning district and the low-medium-density residential zoning district. The existing 800-square-foot detached dwelling, when it was built, featured a 16-foot front setback. Our zoning code for the medium-density residential zoning district requires a 25-foot front setback for a single-family home, and the only mechanism that our code provides for any flexibility is that a homeowner must apply for a Level 2 application and come before you to ask for any reduction to the setback. Whereas other residential zoning districts, the low-medium density residential, which is exactly to the south property line of this subject property, that zoning district provides flexibility where the applicant could pursue a Level 1 planning application and seek reduction to the front setback. Just wanted to give a little bit of background. So the existing property, the existing porch, or the pre-existing porch that was there, measured approximately 8 feet by 5 feet. So it was 8 feet along the front of the house, and it came 5 feet forward of the house. So the pre-existing front setback with that porch was 11 feet. The homeowner took that porch down and built a new front porch, which extends into the front setback an additional approximately 3 feet. So the previous setback to the front setback, or the front porch, was 11 feet. And now with the porch that's been constructed, it is now 8 feet. And so I included a Google Street View on the left-hand side, which shows from February 2021, that previous front porch versus the photo on the right, which I took after I posted the property, which was taken this month and shows the configuration of the porch that's been constructed. The surrounding neighborhood does feature a wide variety of properties that were constructed from the 20s up through even post the 1999 Community Development Code that we're working from. But the majority of them were built prior to this code, the 1999 code that we're working with. And there's a wide variety of dates of construction. And due to the fact that most of them were built 20s, 30s, 40s, the record-keeping system that we have, I don't have the ability to go back and find building permits for, improvements and things like that. So what we do is we just take a general overview using our GIS system, Google Maps, Google Street View, and cross-reference with our permitting system as well as the county property appraiser website. And that is how we evaluate and look at neighborhoods that have older construction dates, that we just don't have a whole series of physical building permits and surveys to pull out. So staff is recommending approval, and I think there was another slide, but no, okay. And I don't have anything further, so if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Is that 8'9" from the right-of-way?
No, it is from the front property line.
And then the right-of-way is, there is a right-of-way there.
There is a right-of-way, yeah. It's, I think it's a 40-foot right-of-way there, and,
From the center line of the road, obviously.
right, yes,
So if I'm understanding you correctly, this is lot 15.
correct,
Adjacent lot 16 is low, medium density residential, where this is medium density residential, which is changing in mid-block. The zoning is
Correct.
actually changing in a
Yes.
mid-block, not going to a complete end of street
Correct.
or anything like
Right.
that. And if it was lot 16 coming in front of you, this is something that could have been handled in a,
administratively or at
Administratively.
the Development Review Committee meeting, which is not a formal public hearing such as this.
okay.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Okay,
And we'll take the presentation by the applicant.
You,
No?
You don't need to, but you have the right to if you wish to.
Oh,
All right. And I believe, Mr. Johnson, it would be time, we don't have any people with party status, so I think we're ready for members of the public.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm Bill Johnson, 2694 Redford Court West. I kind of look after the development items that are coming before you for the community, for the Clearwater Neighborhood Coalition. I'm not speaking for them because of the...
louder, please.
Good. I complain about that one. I'm back. There's a procedural item here that this did not follow the normal procedure, and therefore I wasn't able to contact members of the neighborhood to get some input. And let me just read this email. And this is to the staff planner. Since the staff report wasn't accessible to the public the required 5 days in advance, I was asking her, will the consideration by the CDB board be moved to next month's meeting? This would allow consultation with the Lake Bellevue Community Association. And the rest of this document, it starts out with a communication to Ms. Hawk Baker on Saturday saying that I looked for the staff report on the Excel system where they normally are placed, and it was not there. So I was asking her initially where it is, and she responded, the staff report is now located within the correct area and should be accessible through the hyperlink. And I received that response yesterday afternoon at 2:18. This morning, I had a chance to actually go in and look at the staff report, and so this morning I asked several questions. On page 2 of the staff report, there is a statement, many of the surrounding properties also feature similar front setbacks to detached dwelling or porches. Could you provide the property addresses for those similar surrounding properties and their front setback dimensions? Attached is a photograph showing the property addresses of these similar surrounding properties and their front setback dimensions. That's, could you provide? Attached photograph shows 3 detached dwellings south of the property which have substantially larger setbacks than the subject property. And that is also included on the city's map, which indicates the front setbacks along Washington. And then also, could you supply copies of the aerial photographs, the proposed porch
Mr. Johnson, I think your time has expired, Mr. Johnson. Thank you.
Basically, we've got questions that we didn't get answers to because the staff report was not posted on Thursday, which it should have been.
All right, thank you. This would be the time for cross-examination. If you want to ask questions of Mr. Johnson, or we can proceed to closing remarks and maybe get a response. No, Cross? And did you have any questions for Mr. Johnson or the planning development staff? Okay. Then we can proceed with closing remarks by the planning and development staff.
Before Melissa, if she wants to add anything, I would note that the Lake Bellevue Neighborhood Association was sent a notice of this hearing. I don't believe we had any correspondence from the Neighborhood Association.
That is correct. I have not, I was not contacted by anyone in the neighborhood except for a neighbor across the street. Her name is Ethel Johnson, and she just had questions of what is going on, what's the project about, and I explained everything to her, and she was very pleased with the way that the house has been improved and that it helps to make the neighborhood look better.
Hi, I'm Ellen Crandall with Planning and Development Department. I can speak to the notification for the Lake Bellevue Neighborhood Association. That particular neighborhood association had not actually provided a mailing address for notices. Staff noticed this. We talked to the neighborhood's manager, had the notice emailed to them directly, and also had their mailing address updated, and asked the clerk's office to resend notices and re-update the official list of notices so that it's, you know, we noticed them and it's also recorded that we noticed them, and we additionally emailed them.
And we did the notice to the number of people, whatever it was in the surrounding.
Correct, yes.
Timely.
That's correct. And the property was posted more than 10 days prior to today's meeting. So that's the yellow sign that's physically in the ground that has my contact information on, as well as the address for the meeting and the time, so that if anyone needed to, they could have called me or, physically come here today.
All right.
And that's how Mrs. Johnson got in touch with me, because my phone number was posted.
All right, thank you. Do you have any other comments to add for your closing remarks?
I do not. I just wanted to clarify how the neighborhood was noticed, email, and mailing.
All right.
Thank you.
And as the applicant, do you have any further comments to make? Okay. And Mr. Johnson? Anything
He
further?
doesn't have
He
parties.
doesn't have.
Oh, he doesn't? Sorry, I missed that. You're right. All right, I think then we will close the public hearing and move forward with discussion by the board. I would like to defer to council as to what our options are for this type of objection.
You have all the options available to you that you ordinarily do. My opinion is that though the city's code requires that the materials be accessible to the public, it does not require that they be made available via upload to a website or any other particular medium. There's no statute that requires it. The city's code doesn't require it. My understanding from speaking to city staff is that the materials were in fact accessible to the public, though they did get uploaded to the website later than they ordinarily do. That does not by itself mean at all that they weren't accessible to the public. They were in a different form.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Any comments, discussion? Does someone have a motion to make regarding this item?
I'll move to approve case number 2, or item number 2, case FLD 2022-05017, based on the evidence and testimony presented in the application, the staff report, and at today's hearing, and hereby adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law stated in the staff report with the conditions of approval as listed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this item 2 is approved. Do we have
I do
anything from
not
the
have
planning
anything
development?
today.
All right, in that case, we will be adjourning the meeting at, not sure what the clock is saying.
126.
All right, 1:26.